Welcome to the Point Out Loud Women Trailblazers podcast, your gateway to the inspiring narratives of women at the forefront of change. Join us as we celebrate the strength and resilience of women leaders. In our Women Trailblazers series, we focus on centering women and all the ways we lead together. Centering women means elevating their voice, listening, and focusing on their constraints and challenges so that we can all take action. Proudly affiliated with the UWSP Women Trailblazers Conference, this podcast is a testament to our commitment to gender equity. I'm Lena Matese, co-founder of the UW-Stevens Point Center for Women's Equity, Development, and Leadership. And I am just thrilled to co-host this journey with my friend Serena Vincent, an MBA student embodying the spirit of trailblazing. Together, let's embark on this empowering exploration. Our guest today is Pratima Gandhi, Vice Chancellor for Business Affairs and Chief Financial Officer at UW-Stevens Point. She has over 20 years of academic experience and has served as a Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer at Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois. She also served as an auditor at Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University in Blacksburg, Virginia. As the university's Chief Financial Officer, Gandhi is responsible for UW-Stevens Point operating budget and serves on the Chancellor's executive team.
Thank you so much for being here. Pratima, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your career?
Oh, sure. So many years ago when I started out in college, I actually started out in pre-engineering and medicine, pre-med. So it was an interesting process. My family, as you can probably tell, we're Indian, and education is very highly valued in the Indian community, especially my father, because he's actually has double degrees. He has received his degrees in undergraduate, master's, and PhD in electrical engineering from India, and physics, I think. And then he came here to the U.S. and all 3 degrees again. So he went through a lot of that. But anyway, so starting with that, so it's always, education has been really high in our area, in our family. So yeah, I started started in engineering. It's like a good daughter, right?
That's right.
Like a really good daughter.
Are we getting T-shirts like a good daughter?
Like a good daughter. And medicine. But my dad has always been really an interesting person who said, you do whatever you want to do, and you do not have to follow anything that we do. But all I ask that you go to college and get at least a bachelor's. So this is how it all started. But then as I got in there, there was a professor that I was doing a elective in accounting, and that professor kind of convinced me more about accounting and so forth, so I switched over to the accounting area. So I kind of ended up in the accounting field.
Yeah, but what was your first job?
My first job was, it was as a cost accountant at a company, at a big corporation out of Toledo, Ohio, Owens, Illinois. And I was in the Kimball division where we made ampules and vials for pharmaceutical products. And it was a really interesting position because the vice president there, I worked under the vice president, and not only did I enjoy the cost accounting aspects of it, but he realized that I was interested in other things. I always wanted to learn more, so I got to do industrial engineering. I actually did time studies on some of the manufacturing plants, and then as we're getting into more and more of the operations, I actually got to do some programming, and I programmed an inventory control system. So it was a really interesting position there. But then after that, I got married, and I had a really interesting job at Virginia Tech. I was an internal auditor and learned many, many things. And I think you may have heard this story because I did tell it at a conference. But I got to learn so much about so many different things. And one of the things that is very memorable is that I even learned how to extract semen from from
This is a crazy story.
Yes.
It brought down the house at the Women Trailblazers
It was
and Entrepreneurs
hilarious.
Conference. But describe for us you had a little toolkit, didn't you?
I did. I had a little box. Have you ever seen how that show, How to Be a Millionaire or something like that, and they carried those silver cases?
Okay, yeah.
So there was a little toolkit that looked exactly like that, and in that case were all of the let's just say, the instruments to do the bull extraction. So I used to carry that case around and have to do that. So it was fun.
Yeah, so all of you who are thinking about accounting out there, just know it gets interesting, right?
Does. That was part of inventory control at that time.
I love that.
Yeah. So, yep. And my career started in accounting and higher ed, and here I am.
Well, Pratima, you are a recipient of the 2023 Outstanding Women of Color in Education Award. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So what drew you to the work of leading, and how is it different to do that as a woman, particularly a woman of color?
So actually, I never initially planned to be in a leadership role, to be honest. I really didn't. But as I got more into the business world, and as I was out there, I kept wondering, leaders, there all seem to be a lot of men. No offense to any men out there.
Yeah.
But just a lot of men. I'm thinking, where are the women? Why aren't there women leaders? So instead of just wondering, I thought, I'm going to do something about it. So therefore, what I did is I thought, let me open myself up and let me learn more. And just kind of, as I grew, I learned, I took on roles, and I also tried to find mentors that would help me in those roles, right? And just grew into more of leadership roles over the years. So I went from like a chief accountant to an assistant controller to the controller to CFO, vice president, and vice chancellor here. So over the years, so it was really something that makes you think when you're out there in the business world and you're thinking about, what's the different types of people out there and why? And why there's no holding back for women, right?
Yeah.
And whether you're a woman or anybody else, it's just what potential do you have? And what do you see in yourself? And what do you want to do? And more than anything is, if you see something and you want to make a change, go for it.
So I think we've happened upon the title for this episode, which is I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So was it bothering you? Was it making you curious? Like, what gets you to do something?
So what, more than anything, it really, when I get curious about things and I wonder and I'm thinking, why? The question is why? Why is it this way? Why is it that way? Is it possible? And can I make a difference? And that, I think that's the bigger thing there. What difference can I make in that area? And there are things that bother you. There's always things that happen and thinking, I could probably have done a better job. No, we all think that, right? I could have done a better job. But more than anything is, hey, if you're not happy with something, or if you see something and you want to make a change, you need to get involved. You need to show the interest. You need to make a change yourself, and then put yourself out there and show that you too want to make that change, or you want to do something different.
I'm loving this call to action, and I know Serena wants to ask you about hope, but I just can't help but catch this call to action. So it sounds like you're asking us to ask this question, to be kind of living inside the question of what difference can I make? What difference can I make? And so every time we get that ping of curiosity, right?
Just go for it.
We're restless. We want to know more about it. It's annoying us.
Right. Because nothing should hold you back in anything you want to do. If you have an interest in something, go for it. Learn about it. Expand in that area, and you might fail, which is fine. But that's okay. Yeah. At least you tried. And believe me, I failed a few times here. Yeah. Maybe now. No, I've never failed. No. But I have failed.
Sorry. Oh, Joey. Okay, wait. Did you hear that, everyone? Did you hear that? Did you see that? That's what a failure looks like. That's what failing well looks like. Yeah. Right?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So you're expansive. You're trying it. You're doing it.
Exactly.
And something doesn't go the way you want it to. You're tempted to call it a failure. But look what you did.
I know.
You're like, I failed. Not really. Yeah. I failed. No, I didn't.
You kind of think, well, no, you learn from it, and you learn, and you try something different, and you think, at the time, you're frustrated. Don't get me wrong. You're frustrated. I'm like, But then you think back and said, okay, lesson learned. What am I learning? What am I going to do next? How am I going to change it? How can I do something differently? Yeah. And you just kind of reflect inward, like, oh, okay, but that's okay. If I fail, go and do something else, or in certain areas, you keep going, right? You might fail once, but that's okay. Maybe you didn't do something the way you think or it went. Then you just go ahead and try again. But maybe you take a different approach than what you have in the past. So that's kind of those lesson learns type of thing. So, yeah.
So circling back to that topic of hope, when you think about women and our role in society, what gives you the most hope?
So I think more than anything, what gives me hope is there are more women in like the workforce and everything we do. You know that old saying, oh, that's a good old boys network? What gives me hope is, oh, now we're doing a good old girls network. We to support each other, you know, to get us together. And I think I see that here so much. And I think with you, Lena, with the Women Trailblazers and the Women's Center, that gives me hope because and I see you, and to be honest, you're one of my heroes because you're such a great leader in this area. Absolutely. And coming here, I saw that expand, and I saw the potential even more so than in the past. And so I think that is my hope, that we continue that and we support each other. And you know what? And we shouldn't be afraid to ask for help, and when we need it. Sometimes in the past, it would be like, oh no, I have to do it all myself, and I have to prove something on my own. But no, you don't. You need to ask for help. And myself, I want to be a mentor for other people to help them out, see what they want to do, and but more than anything, yeah, ask for help. Be there, support each other. Actually, don't be judgmental, you know, about different things, and just kind of, it's okay being different. I'm different. So a lot of people say I'm different. Whether, you know, sometimes it's my skin color, sometimes it's because I'm not a typical accountant. I talk too much, you know. I love to talk, and I love to do different things. I'm not, you know, how sometimes you have stereotypes of accountants or something. Yeah. It's okay to be different, and it's okay to go on your own and just be yourself. I know you have to do certain, you know, look at certain things in different ways, but yeah, be yourself, be true to yourself more than anything, and forge ahead. Don't let there be barriers.
So I have to say, I was part of the team, the committee that was part of making the decision to bring Pratima to campus.
Yes, you were.
And what I fell in love with was your practicality. I could see that you had been smart and methodical and practical and easy. You're just easy.
Well,
do you know what I mean by
yeah.
that? Like I'm excitable. You're practical. Like you've talked me off the ledge a number of times.
Well, thanks. I think that's partly training and just partly just my experiences in life. But I think more than anything, what I've learned over the years is when I lead by example. I want to lead the way I think myself that I would like to see a leader, and you know, to be you can be a leader, and you can be strong. You have to hold people accountable, no doubt about it. But I also think you can be kind, and but practical. And that's my job, to be practical. And I think from and that's been ingrained into me from when I was very young. My father's a very practical person, and he, at the very beginning, when I was a teenager, he said, "You will learn how to change oil in your car. You will learn how to change a tire. You will learn this. You will learn that." So it's a lot of, and I do know how to do some electronics things, not too much, but enough to get by. But the thing is, he was very practical, and he was well, coming from an Indian culture, you're very traditional. There's very traditional roles for men and women, and he said, no, I don't want my daughters to be in that traditional role. You should expand. You should be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. So I think from a young age, when you have that reinforcement, it also is really, and I really admire my dad because he had that outlook. He wasn't a typical outlook for Indian male.
All right, folks, you heard it here. be like Pratima's dad, right? That's what we're talking about. So all of you who are in positions of authority, positions of power, who have any privilege of any kind, we ask you to be like Pratima's dad and say no. Say no to the limitations that women face and invite women into roles that are perhaps close to them, yeah?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Whatever you want to do, it's just whatever role you want, it doesn't matter. The sky's the limit, right? When you're doing that, it's just like, just be true to yourself in terms of what you want to do and how you want to do that.
So, what is one thing, kind of wrapping it up here, what is one thing you'd like to ask everyone listening to the podcast to do further to unleash women?
I would say, again, be true to yourself, but more importantly, to embrace each other and to embrace other women, because we can learn from each other, we can support each other. So take that, embrace each other. May sound a little corny, but it's true. I think we embrace each other. I know that just over the years, especially coming here and working with you, Lena, you have expanded that thought too, and made that feeling even more, as you all accepted me very, very much at this institution. I really appreciate it.
Well, Serena and I are just so grateful that you came to join us together, and we're happy to be in your embrace.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's not corny at all.
And one last thing, and you can do it.
Yes, you can do it.
You can do it.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Point Out Loud Women Trailblazers podcast. We hope the stories and insights shared today have inspired you to embrace your own leadership journey and uplift the voices of women around you. This episode was produced by Lee Vaughter, campus videographer, Logan Bidon, senior media studies student, and Brittany Kaminsky, marketing and creative services. Discover more about all Point Out Loud podcasts by visiting uwsp.edu/podcast. Join us next time for more captivating conversations and compelling narratives. Until then, keep blazing trails and amplifying the power of women everywhere.